Good day everyone. So Lua is difficult, and what did I decide to not do during all my 3500 hours? Well, learn Lua, which means I need to learn it now. And although it might seem like I'm utterly incompetent at anything Lua, and trust me I have tried it twice in my life. The first time it was with an autopilot, and specifically this was the part of the autopilot that stores the waypoints. But it wasn't made by me, it was made by a person from the Discord server. The second time it was with a radar, and this was actually made by me, although it was from a tutorial. But in my defense, it was heavily modified, so it's kind of mine. So as you saw, I'm almost as horrible at making Lua as I am at piloting planes or driving ships. So I wanted to get better. So with my two newest and greatest ships, I decided to set myself a goal, to make most of the systems that include Lua myself. And with the full knowledge that I will most probably not complete anything, I jumped straight in with these two small screens. The first thing is a small information screen, and this one actually ended up way better than I expected. You can control your RGB, you can also adjust your text color, although this is not on the fly, unlike the RGB, and it just looks quite good, I'd say. The second was I heavily modified my heavily modified radar. So it's now heavily modified, and so it's now mine basically, and it just looks better. I added some lines, I made it configurable as far as the color goes, and it's just way better. So I already have two very easy small projects that I've done in Lua. And with that, I think it's a great idea to make the jump and deprive myself of a lot of hours of sleep and try and make a map. Uh-oh. So with all the poorly thought through jokes done and the intro gone too, let's jump into it with this little ship. Now I've just came up with another project that could delay this even longer, which is what I've been trying to do the past 3500 hours, and that is we need to add a mast somewhere here. A lot of people have been telling me to add one, and I have been meaning to add one every episode, but I just didn't get to it, and now we will really need one. Now, maybe 3 blocks aren't enough. I wanna add a really big mast on this, because this will need a lot of systems. As far as screens go, this will be even laggier than Crown. So the trend of my ships being horribly laggy will continue. Now we can add the second part. So I hope you're happy with that mast, because I certainly am. That's not a bad mast, it's a giant one. So I hope it complements the ship nicely. Now let's go into the long delayed thing, and that's actually doing the map. I'm just gonna do all the controller shenanigans up here because I don't have much space down here. So let's place the controller down and let's see how many nodes we need and what exactly we need with the nodes. So we definitely need the coordinates and maybe zoom and video and the good old RGB. Now let's update this and let's check out the information screen controller that I made, and let's see if we're missing anything and steal the RGB thing. And I just remembered we need touch here. Now I might want to steal this, although I don't know what we could use all this for. Let's copy it for now. Now here we have the RGB, so let's copy that, get it here. Let's lay this out nicely. And so we will need a Lua box here. and we will need to hook up some composite into it. Now I don't know what to do with the touch, so let's leave that be for now. And let's open this up. Now let's delete all of that, we don't need that. And nice. So here let's tell it some things. So this is going to be the X coordinate, Y here, and that's gonna be channel 2, and so on so forth. So we got all of that set up. Now it's time to check out the actual on-draw thing, which is the map. Alright, so all of this is map. We'll get this first, because we'll need it here. Let's do X, Y, zoom. I don't know, do I need to put this in like this? Now we have the basics done. Let's give it some color, because now it will have just the normal colors you see on the normal in-game map. So let's add all this and let's change it up. So we will switch all of this out for the RGB values, and let's leave this at 0 if that doesn't completely make it invisible. Now here let's just add certain values. So this wasn't a particularly great idea. This needs to be 255. Looks good, except for that the water is yellow. That's it. It's still yellow, and this doesn't even work. And it makes sense because I didn't set 255 as max value. So nothing works. Let's do this. That's better, but the shallows are still weird. So this seems like it's working. The shallows just need a bit lighter color, because they're an important part of the map. So the ocean is nice now, but I think we can tone down a bit the grass and all the sand and things like that, to make it so that it isn't really fully that color, but so that it's just a small hint of that color. Maybe tone the green down to make this just around, keep this 25, but let's make this 33. Let's make this sand around 20. Snow will be like that. I think all of these are fine. Yeah, that's way better. Right, nice. So now, I think it's a great idea to get all this and get the information screen and the radar and put it somehow in here. And maybe add the GPS autopilot, because today I want to do a test trip with this. Maybe go up to the Arctic. So let's plan out some things here. I think I want 2 large bridge islands here, or like one on each side. They should work. So let's start a small time lapse and go ahead and fill all this in with the systems. Alright, so we have a layout now, and I now know where I want to put my monitors and what's going to be on them. So here this is going to be the main monitor, and we will be able to click through like all of the different monitors that will be found here, and then this should be, it will either be the map or the information screen. Here we will have either the map or the information screen, probably the map, and this will be the radar, and then here we will have the sonar and something else there. So let's get the systems hooked up. So I forgot that we need to actually reposition the map, as in so the map moves when we don't, and we will use these arrows for that. I need to connect them and get all this up and running. So we now can move the map without moving our ship and reset it. That's absolutely perfect. I'm really happy about this. I could have put these arrows on the actual map, but I think that abstracts too much of the map, and also I just like it like this more. And so that's great. I might make it move even quicker, but I don't know, I'll see. And this is all done. We have the information panel and these two, which is great. So now let's sail over to the Arctic. So we're here at Donk with the ship and starting up the reactor, and we are soon going to be going to the Arctic. Now, you can't just ignore what I just did with the ship, because while you weren't looking, I decided to give it a livery. Now it has a livery. I think it looks great. I think it signifies how fast the ship is, and it makes it look less boring. So that's great that we have a livery. And let's wait for the reactor and then we can move. It's great that I don't have to go all the way down there into the control room to see all of my information when I can just see it here. So that's nice. And also I can see it in a prettier way. Now also with the radar, I think this radar works way better than any other radar, especially the one on Crown, because that one didn't work really well. And I think that's because for this radar I decided to increase the FOV, so it's easier for it to spot things, and now it works way better, and it just really does display when it sees a thing. And its range, its max range is 12 kilometers, which is fine for me with the FOV and with just how well it works. So that's great that we have that. So we're now producing steam with the boiler pressure and we can move. Now we're doing the maximum speed, and I think it's a good time to get the autopilot working. So we need to plan out our route. So I think if we go through this way, we should generally be safe up until these icebergs here. Then we can go around this hospital boat here, around this BVG freight terminal, and then we should be able to get there. And I want to go to the island here. So let's set up the waypoints. Alright, and it's set up. So that's great that we have a functioning setup thing, and now I guess it's time to wait. During the whole journey I might like pop back up and tell you if anything special happens or if I see anything. And if not, the next clip will be from the Arctic. Also, I might turn on this random weather thing. It's cutting through waves quite nicely, that's cool. So it's really pitching and rolling here, or not really rolling because it doesn't roll much thanks to the stabilizers. But yeah, there are some big waves here. Let's actually check the weather map if it's gonna get any worse. Yeah, we're just in this really bad area here. Then it should be fine and should remain that up until here, which that should move somewhere here, so it could strike us, but I don't know if it will keep the intensity it has here. So we should generally be fine as far as the weather goes, but unfortunately we will get quite a lot of fog. And now we've actually come out of the waves. That's cool. We are now right in between the first islands. There is one right up there, and we will be turning now soon. We've officially reached the area where it snows, which is great, and we should be getting a lot of fog soon, which is not great arguably, but we'll be seeing icebergs soon, and the wind has picked up here mainly along this area, but we should be fine. So now we have begun encountering icebergs, but there is quite a bit of fog here, which means that we aren't currently able to see them, but that's cool. And also you may notice that the thing is moving a bit slow, only 40 knots, and that is because the boilers apparently can't keep up. They max out at a 0.2 pressure, which isn't good, but I think the reason for that is that the small pumps I use there are just too small to bring enough water in, because they are pumping all the time and they just can't bring in enough water, so we will replace them for large ones. That's quite a small issue, I believe, there. So let's continue on. Only 27 kilometers more. Now that the fog has cleared a bit, we can see icebergs right up there. So that's really cool. I might also add a dot right in the middle of the map just to make it less confusing. And we're turning here. This is the first time I've been able to catch a turn on the camera, which is cool. So we can basically say that the autopilot is working absolutely amazingly. So that's great. And 10 more kilometers. That's good. And now we're approaching the BVG freight terminal, which we will cross right up through here, and then we'll be on the home stretch here into this thing. And then we'll also see how much time I lost from this. That's gonna be painful. Wow, that's gonna be close. Or not. Where do we turn off? Well, that was close. We should definitely know the limitations of this thing. Now it should be able to continue on. So this is the last turn. I'm going to turn the thing off and going to do the last part just by hand. And less than a kilometer, way less. So let's start lowering our speed gradually. And we've made it past the waypoint. And this is the island here. And there we see the pier. Nice. And we're here. We will definitely need bow and stern thrusters, but actually this journey was way better than I expected. It went really well, except for that small little problem with the boilers. Now currently it took just under an hour and 45 minutes to get here, which is less than I expected, And so that's great. It's great that this thing is fast, and we will definitely need that speed. So I believe that's all I needed to say and needed to do today. And this has been an amazing episode actually. Everything went well. Mainly I'm excited about the Lua going well, because that's not a thing I'm really known about being good at. So that's great, I finally have some Lua of my own. And yeah, I'm really excited where this project is going. I think we might actually be past the most difficult parts of this. I think the only difficult part there is really left is adding bow and stern thrusters and maybe some more bridge systems. But soon we will be able to get into the interior and work on that. So yeah, with the icebergs in the background, see ya.